Episode 3, Dante, we made it. They said we wouldn't make it this far.
3 episodes in.
They said
Maybe we won't make it to episode 4 if we're out like this. It's talking to the mic. John, I can't believe we made it this far.
Oh, your mic sounds fucked. All right. Well,
what do you mean?
Bryant, hit us with the theme song.
All right. Well, that's a hell of an intro.
1, 2. Is this one? Is this one?
All right, play it again. I know it's one. You have to shut up because I gotta listen.
He was like calling him by his first name. Dave, please stop, Dave. You're supposed to be my friend.
It's gotta be on here somewhere. 3, 2, 1. Keith Lee. Damn it.
All right. Theme songs gotta be over at that point. All right. Welcome to episode 3 of the official Mustache Bros Wrestling podcast.
For the YouTubers.
Okay, for the YouTubers
YouTubers.
strictly.
Mwah. How we doing today?
Bingo. I gotta give you a new
What's
cable.
wrong with me right now?
We're back. Technical difficulties all cleared up. Dante, we got a lot to talk about today.
We do have a lot to talk about today.
And I guess just a little plug before we get into the episode. We do have our Patreon, patreon.com/Lumberlend. For $5 a month, you can get to the MBW podcast after party. Basically, it's just another 20 to 30 minutes or whatever second episode a week that we're not going to get to. There's so much that happened. We're not going to get to everything. So everything that we don't get to in this main show is on the after party.
Right.
So head over there if you want to get access to that. Like I said, think of it as getting 2 podcasts a week instead of getting
Not a bad thing.
just this one.
Doesn't sound bad to me.
But Dante, where do you want to start? I think there's an obvious place to start. Where do you want to start?
There are. I mean, we got a lot of things to talk about.
got a
I'm
lot.
just looking at your doc now. I do want to apologize in advance. Give a little heads up. I am very tired right now. It's Thursday today. The Celtics played.
Celtics, baby.
Game 3 last night. Game ended at 11:30, 12. I'm running on fumes right now, so I apologize if it does not seem like I am 100% here. But I think we should start with the biggest news, and that's CM Punk having to relinquish his
I was going to say
championship.
Cody Rhodes, but
Or we could talk about Cody Rhodes. I'm looking at the doc, and it was the number one thing, so I just kind of rolled with that.
no, let's talk about Cody Rhodes.
All right, let's talk about
first.
Cody. Yeah, let's just go in chronological order. Let's start with Sunday, and
So,
we'll move on. Okay.
I will say though, it was funny how, because this podcast comes out Friday morning, 8 or 12 hours later, our whole episode was irrelevant because we talked about
Cody
Punk
Rhodes,
the whole time.
and
then,
Punk and Cody, and
But-
that's just part of the business.
That's wrestling.
That's wrestling for you.
So obviously it's old news at this point, but we haven't gotten a chance to talk about it. Cody Rhodes wrestling with the torn pec. I'm sure we've all seen the pictures in the match now where his pec and it's all purple. I saw an update on Twitter the other day where it's
went down to
his
his
whole
arm.
arm now is
Yeah,
purple.
yeah.
Oh my God. So I guess I just want to get your thoughts on, we'll talk a little more about Hell in a Cell in general too, but give me your thoughts on the Cody versus Seth match in general. And then honestly, what I'm more interested about is what you think about his performance, the whole torn pec thing, and just what are your main thoughts on it?
I mean, right away, I just think of how tough this guy is. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
the only other time or comparable instance to something like this that I think of, I think it was Saudi Arabia. Triple H, Shawn Michaels had their DX return against Brothers of Destruction. One of the worst matches ever. Never needed to happen. But Triple H tore his pec in that match. And I remember during the match you saw, what the same thing. It was red and blue and purple and stuff on his chest, kind of going down to his shoulder. But Cody Rhodes, the thing is, he didn't
Say it doesn't help for the argument that he's basically trying to be Triple H.
No, and then they used the sledgehammer and he did the pedigree in the match. Yeah, no, it doesn't help. But it's not like he suffered it during the match. He got it a day or two before, and he still went through with it. I guess he was lifting or something like that.
Yeah.
And obviously, he was probably doing chest, something shoulder related, tore his pec. It is a gross looking injury.
Yep.
I'm sure
It was crazy. It was tough to watch the match.
It
And whenever
was.
he'd take a bump on it
Take a
or
spot on it,
whatever,
yeah.
you're just oh.
I think
There's the moment where Seth is driving in the kendo stick or whatever it was.
right.
Oh.
I've never had a torn pec before, so I don't know what that feels like. I hope it looks worse than it feels because Cody Rhodes, just going into the match, it was a banger. You wouldn't have even thought that he was hurt because it didn't seem like he was limited in any capacity. It just seemed like he just fought through the pain and just went through it and just put on the match of the night, in my opinion. And I was very impressed with Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
And I think that just adds. And this isn't even, and this is WWE fell on this. This isn't even something that they planned on.
Right.
He looked so much more heroic and just more like a believable baby face.
Oh, when I was like editing a video or whatever, and I had to like pull up a picture of him like with the torn pec, and Sophie just like looked over my shoulder and she saw it was a picture of him just like standing in the middle of the cell with like his pec all fucking like whatever. And it just like the angle it was shot at with the cell when he's wearing like the pants, and she was just like, "Holy shit!" Like she said this, she went, "Holy shit!" That's the most badass thing I've ever seen.
Yeah,
and it's just like you said, they're obviously not gonna. Hey, Cody, for this match, you need to tear your
right.
But yeah, I also think a super impressive performance, like you said, the most heroic looking showman thing. But I guess the big question coming into it was, should he have done it?
Wrestle the match.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, if it was that bad, he wouldn't have gotten cleared. I think.
The rumor that I heard
is that faked.
No,
because I heard that. I heard that it was like paint, like people they just like
no
put it
way.
on, but that's
bullshit.
No shot. It's true, dude.
What I heard is he didn't get cleared, but this is all just hearsay too, but maybe he didn't get cleared, but he signed proper paperwork to be like, I'm going
if
against
something
doctor's
happens,
orders.
like it's on me.
Because there's no way he got cleared.
I mean, I could believe that. I think it's just like the extent of the injury, I guess. Again, I don't know anything about torn pecs, so I don't know like how serious is like, okay, like you
he
heard
needs
it.
surgery.
And he had surgery,
Yeah.
which went well and everything, which is great, but I'm not sure because some injuries you can like compared to basketball, like a torn ACL, you can tear your ACL and still play. It's painful, you can still play.
Okay.
Like Rajon Rondo tore his ACL back in 2011,
Shout out
and
to
he
GOAT.
played like the second half with it. Granted, he didn't know he tore his ACL, but still, torn pec. It could be
I don't
something
think Cody
the
knew
same.
he tore his pec.
I mean, someone
He's like, I don't know what
comes
this-
into work on Sunday. Hey, something might be wrong with your pec there. But I don't know if it's something. Obviously, it's painful. If it's just pain tolerance, or like there's risk of like further like a popping a blood vessel. I don't know. Like there could be something further injured there or not. I don't know. I could believe that though. If it was as serious as it was, that he did go through that process.
That's just he seems like that guy. He's like, fuck
100%.
it, I want to put on this performance. I want to be the guy.
He's back in WWE now. He feels like, he still has that chip on his shoulder and he wants to show, like, doesn't want to let the fans down. You know what I mean? And he didn't. I just think that just says a lot about like character work, whatever, but just as a person, I think that just shows like he cares. Like he cares about the business a lot and just like still show must go on.
Yep.
So and I think I said heroic, the word that I used, but I think
That's appropriate.
a lot of people have a lot more respect for Cody Rhodes now.
Yeah.
A lot
So-
more respect.
In the last episode of the pod, I posed the question, like, is the Cody experiment working? Is it
Right.
working? I said no. I said, like, at the time of recording
That was pre Hell in a Cell.
That's what I'm
though,
saying.
yeah.
So that was pre Hell in a Cell, and I was like, he's had the matches with Seth, and he's good, and he's over. But I was like, it's not really hitting. Now that I've watched the Hell in a Cell match and this whole performance and whatever, now I'm like, oh, Cody's the guy.
Yep.
Cody is working. He's on top of the world. He's a top babyface, whatever. So like for me, like going along with what you said, I was also in that camp of like, it took this performance for me to now be this much.
You're sold.
As sold on
Sure.
Cody as like they were trying to get people at.
Right.
So one other note that I kind of had on this Cody performance is, it kind of speaks to my last question, but do you think him going out there and performing with this injury and kind of showing, like, it's kind of an old school mentality
Right.
of, the show must go on, like you said. Do you think it kind of sets an unreachable or unfair, unprecedented kind of goal? Basically what I'm trying to say is, does it look bad for other performers? Is it a bad precedent to set for other performers of like, oh, well, Cody went out there and wrestled with a pec, or whether it's expectations from their bosses or self expectations of like, well, Cody did this, I have to go out there and do this.
Right. it's a great question. I'm just trying to unravel.
Yeah.
So what I'm taking from that is, do wrestlers have this higher expectation now to go out and perform through an injury like Cody did? Is that kind of what you're asking?
And kind of now that's basically what I'm asking. And now that Cody's done it, is it going to make it a little more like dangerous, and people are going to, because the whole game of wrestling is to get to that level,
right?
And now Cody's
guys are
at the
pushing
top,
themselves maybe too much.
So people are going to see that, and
Okay.
let's say someone gets a fucking broken ankle, or If Punk broke his foot, right, and Punk sees Cody being like, well, Cody just wrestled with a pec, with a torn pec. I'm gonna go out there and wrestle on my broken foot,
Right.
and then he makes his foot worse, and that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I totally get that. I think the performance is inspiring.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's motivating to other performers. I don't think it shouldn't be an expectation, especially from like a boss looking down on his employee standpoint. Like if I'm Vince McMahon, like I wouldn't want to push someone to force someone to, like, just because, like, let's say I'm Vince McMahon and you came up to me and be like, oh, Punk wrestled through that. Like, let me wrestle through it. I'd be like, okay, like, I appreciate, like, the motivate. You want to do that. But, like, there's levels to it. It's like certain injuries, like, you can perform through. Some injuries you can't. And at the end of the day, too, it's a long-term thing, this business. Like, obviously, you look towards the future, and you don't want to risk further injuring yourself, getting a more serious injury. I do think wrestlers will want to put themselves in that same, like, breath of like, oh, if Cody can do that, I can do it. Because like this whole business, at the end of the day, it's you against everyone else. Because you're trying to make a name for yourself in this business. Not a lot of people. And they see like,
oh, if I do that, I'm also, because this is being hailed as one of like the greatest performances. It's Cody's best match by far, and also kind of like unsung hero Seth Rollins.
Oh
my god,
that dude could wrestle. He could wrestle someone that started training yesterday and put on a 5-star match.
Like he's like, yeah, just
he is probably my favorite wrestler, and he's been my favorite wrestler for a while, just because obviously the look-alike. I've always loved his character work.
Dude, he's so good.
You give him anything.
He's so good.
I wasn't sold on the whole Messiah thing, the whole like visionary thing, but like now I'm into it.
I'm
now.
sold on this character.
He runs with it.
He always comes out. But so to get
going back
question,
to the Cody Rhodes.
I guess my thing is, I hope, and this should be like a one-of-one situation. This should be a rare thing, because we don't want to start seeing injured guys pushing themselves to the limit to try to replicate this sort of star power or stardom. Super impressive. It's going down in history as one of the greatest performances, period.
As it should.
But like you said, I think there still should be a responsibility line there of like, okay, one-of-one situation. Like, let's
and like you said, who knows what happened behind the scenes here? Maybe he did sign something.
Who knows?
Maybe not. It's his third big match in WWE. They have the whole storyline. They have everything set up there. Who knows what they decided on?
And so obviously, I mean, is there a timeline when he's going to come back or no?
He was hinting at winning Money in the Bank.
Right.
I would assume a month.
Yeah, I don't know.
Torn pec is 3 to 6 weeks. It can be 3 to 6 weeks or 6 to 8 weeks, I believe, depending on the recovery process.
It's not too bad.
So let's say we'll just say Cody Rhodes, tough SOB. I'm going to put him in as coming back sooner rather than later. I'm going to say his return is at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. That would be my guess. I obviously, who knows? But that's what I would think.
So moving on from Cody, staying in the Hell in a Cell, kind of like briefly, because the Cody match was
that was the highlight.
It was the pay-per-view, but if you have any other thoughts on Hell in a Cell or any other points to talk about, I'd love to hear it.
I mean, what other match? So we had the Omos Bobby Lashley match. At the end of that, Bobby Lashley grabbed a replica WWE Championship belt from a fan and held it up and was like kissing it and stuff. So now they're kind of planting seeds there. Him getting back into that picture. At least they got something out of that mess. I hate that storyline. At least they got seeds planted for Bobby Lashley here.
There was, I guess, the other two matches where it was the Judgment Day match, which we can save because when we kind of start talking about Raw and what happened on Raw, I kind of want to talk about that. Only other match I think is really worth bringing up,
The Becky
is Madcap Moss versus Happy Quarter.
of course, because it was no holds barred, of course.
Is Asuka, Becky, Bianca.
Yeah, but on a banger. Yeah, as we expected.
Oh my god,
as we expected.
Honestly, like while watching it, I was a little surprised. We both predicted Bianca was gonna win. Watching it, I was like, "Oh, there's no way," because like I don't know, Becky and Asuka are just—they're
all credible.
They're all so good and they're all so credible, and I love Becky and Asuka. I mean, Asuka's like my number one women's wrestler right now. She's so good. I mean, Becky. Oh, and I mean, to speak to like what you were saying about Seth, like Becky too, with like the character work. I love her character work.
Give her
right
anything
now.
and she'll kill it.
Her character work is, and I love like the fall from grace. Which again, we'll talk about it. I don't love that she was in a 24/7 match. She lost a 24/7 match. We'll talk about it, but the idea of it of like hitting rock bottom, and she's so delusional now.
I think
where she's like, I can only go up. I can only go. You know.
Yeah.
I think it's so good.
I agree
and the
with
presentation.
the 24/7 thing, but I think that's like as much as people hate it, that's like the perfect like rock bottom. Like,
it makes
story.
sense.
It makes it plays a part of the storyline.
But yeah, I guess I don't have much else to say about Hell in a Cell. Like that was.
I really don't either.
To be honest, if it was more, it is Friday. It was about a week ago. If it was more. If it was fresher in my mind, I guess we'd probably have a little bit more to say about it. Also, I mean, we do have our results video coming out.
We put that out.
At this point,
did we put it out?
So it's gonna be a part of the video. It's gonna be a part of the video that comes out yesterday. It's all
Short. Sounds good. So check that out.
That's Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, I really don't have anything else to add there.
Let's jump over. We're gonna jump back and forth from WWE, AEW, whatever. So let's jump with this. I'd say. Well, like the biggest news, but like the second biggest whatever
thing
that happened over the week.
this week.
CM Punk has to, not relinquish, but step away and leaves for injury.
I said relinquish earlier. It's not the term. He technically didn't relinquish it. He's just, I guess they're holding on to it.
Yeah,
the interim
they're
champ,
gonna do the
and then they'll do the undisputed combining belts thing.
So, and I guess this can, So, all right, let's stop there and let's talk about that. How do we feel? I don't know if you watched the promo, but like super emotional and just like I thought I will say the level of emotion it was. I thought he was done forever.
Really?
Because like he was like.
Yeah, he was upset.
The way it was, he was crying and he was like, upset, I care about this, and then fortunately, and then he said, I don't know, what did he say, 4 weeks or whatever it was?
It's what was it, ankle injury?
I think he broke his foot or something.
I don't remember him giving a timeline, but I feel like that it's not.
If he did, it wasn't anything like crazy.
Yeah, it's not a crazy injury. Yeah, I mean, usually something like that. Fractures are worse than breaking it. Yeah, probably a few months at most.
Yeah.
Everyone's different, like healing and stuff like that too. I mean, he is 40-something too, so it might be a little harder to recover as quick. Not saying you won't recover, but just as quickly. So I guess those are a few factors there.
They're saying he might have broke it when he like jumped in the crowd.
I was gonna say that. Yeah. So I heard that he broke his foot jumping into the crowd.
Probably not gonna do that anymore, huh?
They should have told him to stop doing that, like after he did it the first.
Yeah,
3
I didn't
times.
expect him to do like the first time he did it.
The first time was like, oh, this is cool. He's
and then
happy.
He kept doing it.
Yeah, it's kind of excessive. Like it gets the fans going and stuff, but like. First of all, you can break your foot, and second of all, you can get a crazy fan.
He hasn't been clearing those guardrails.
Well, I can see why he broke his foot, because I think the one that he did on AEW, I watched it, and it looked like awkward because he only got one leg over.
Yeah.
I think that's actually what it was.
That's probably what it was.
Oh, man.
Max Caster is now claiming that he broke it, but I don't know.
Yeah, I saw he did the when he was doing his theme song into the ring, he said that.
So
it's a shitty situation. But
shitty situation I was very relieved watching it when it was like he said he was coming. I don't know. I don't want to sound like, I think it was too emotional over the top. However, like at the end of it, I was like, okay, it's only
you did all of that.
It's very temporary. He's still the champ. Exactly.
I get that. I think it was just because like. It's just for him.
He just won it.
Like he's been gone for 8 years. Yeah. Finally won the big one. And it's like that's a tough blow, and especially if it's for something that you did, and it's like you have no one to blame but yourself.
I imagine it's frustrating.
I'd be frustrated
because he even said in it, he was like, I had plans on going on a monster run. So he was probably getting ready to defend it like any chance he could.
Now, with that being said, I do believe that when he does come back, I think I'm just kind of, in a way, skipping over this. I think he will get the title back very quickly after he returns. And I think he will go on that monster run because the whole reports, what I'm hearing is Tony Khan was like, you are not relinquishing this. Like, he wouldn't let him relinquish it because he wants him to still have that monster run, like you said. It's situations like this suck because I think he would have had an amazing run, but that doesn't mean that he still won't. We've seen, I mean, in my years of watching wrestling, I've seen guys win championships and have to relinquish it very shortly after a bunch of times. Batista did it. Who did I just have? Finn Balor did it recently with Universal Belt. It happens. It's a shitty situation. But fortunately for Punk, he is at the top of the top. He's not losing his spot to anyone while he's gone. And from what we said earlier about the whole Tony Khan situation, it seems like he is all set on just taking over right when he comes back. You just got to build up the storyline again. It's like, okay, let's just say Moxley wins it. Now you have to build up the whole Punk Moxley thing and do all that. But once you get past it and you give him the belt back, just go right back to where you started.
So I was going to say, so I guess that leads into the next thing, the interim AEW champions to be crowned. Kind of getting into the present now, Dynamite, at the time of recording this, Dynamite was just last night.
You're going to have to carry the Dynamite talk a little bit.
That's fine.
Because I did watch the Battle Royal because that was before the Celtics. Anything after that was not picked. I was not filled in on.
So, so you saw the Battle Royal, so Kyle O'Reilly.
Kind of surprising. I mean, I saw your tweet about Kyle O'Reilly saying we have to see him wrestle again. I don't mind Kyle O'Reilly. I don't know if I like him that much of as a singles competitor. I'm not sold on him as a singles star.
So that was the thing, is because like Mox, it was the winner of that faced. Sorry, your headphones are moaning and giving me the please charging in my ear. I gotta take them off.
That sounds
the
about
headphones.
right.
Sorry, the headphones are weird. That
our headphones are very sexual.
Whenever they down, I go please charging. It's weird.
Plug me
but
in.
anyways, it's weird not having the headphones off now. But so, AEW interim championship. Kyle O'Reilly faced John Moxley. Obviously, John Moxley won. And there was a lot of problems that people had with the Battle Royal. Not me as much, but it's a fair argument where, the likes of Adam Cole, Wardlow, guys were left out who were like Jay Lethal, which
Samoa Joe wasn't in there.
Samoa Joe wasn't in there, which I get it. Like, it was a Battle Royal. Where
was Adam Page, the former champ? I know he had a match later on, but I mean, you'd think, give him a chance to get the belt back.
Yeah, so it seemed like it was like
maybe it was just like a showcase for other guys.
That's what I'm thinking. It was cool. Everyone got their spot. My thing is like how I kind of saw the Battle Royal is like, this isn't the opportunity for the top 5 guys.
Right.
This is more of like a gamble or like a lucky opportunity.
Any one of these guys could win. Because I guess I was gonna say. I think my biggest thing with Kyle O'Reilly thinking about it is that since he's not credible, Moxley was going to win, right? But like, again, you kind of have to look at like the Battle Royal. You want like unpredictability. You want some guy that people don't expect to win. But at the same time, like you want someone credible to win because you still want to have that. Oh, maybe Moxley will lose. Like if it's an Adam Cole versus Moxley.
And they put on a great match.
They did. Kyle O'Reilly is an amazing wrestler. I'm not taking a thing away from him. And I do think you can build him up as a single star. He was in the Owen Hart tournament and stuff, and I think he got a win or two. But it's just Moxley is so head and shoulders above everyone else. You knew he was going to. If Kyle O'Reilly beat John Moxley, I would put my future house on the line for the guy coming out of New Japan going up against Kyle O'Reilly winning the belt. I would not think Kyle O'Reilly would win the whole thing.
So that's what they're doing. So now it's going to be John Moxley versus the winner of, I forget who the two on the Japan side are. Tanahashi and maybe is in it.
Yeah, Tanahashi, because he was supposed to face Punk, and then
I forget the other guy's
name. The other guy's name.
And then they're gonna
Gato, Gato, whatever his name is.
Okay.
I don't know how it's pronounced.
They're going to face at Forbidden Door, right? Am I getting this right? They're going to face at Forbidden Door for the interim title?
Yes, that's where they're going to fight for the interim belt. I don't know when those two guys are going to fight to see who's facing Moxley. If that's what you're asking, I don't. They're not
wasn't,
wrestling
but-
at Forbidden Door.
Right. No,
but
they're
the
fighting
belt
at some.
will be at Forbidden
They're fighting
Door.
at like I think it's called like Dominion or
the
Domination
New
or
Japan
something
event,
like that.
yeah. And then at Forbidden Door, they'll fight for the interim belt. Yes, correct.
Interesting. So I mean, obviously, people were excited for like Punk versus Tanahashi, and what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it's a step down. Moxley's great too.
So who do you think? I mean, so it's I think at this point it's either gonna be Moxley or Tanahashi,
Right.
Unless some crazy swerve happens.
Yeah,
I'm cool with Moxley getting it back because he didn't have a run with the arenas.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I'm cool with him
Pandemic
getting
champ.
I'm cool with him getting like a month or two of running with the interim and then having a banger with Punk.
I think Moxley is as believable as they come. I mean, he is as credible as anyone else. He's badass.
And even if they want to do Tanahashi, I don't know as much about the New Japan guys, but
right.
I'm down.
Whatever. If he's as big as people say he is, yeah. Again, I've said this previously before. AEW, they've done enough for me to earn their trust as far as whatever they do. I believe that they have a plan and they have a long-term plan. They'll figure it out. So whatever happens, it happens. I think Moxley will win, but whatever happens, happens.
Let's we got so much. We really do. We can finish Dynamite or because we're really gonna be jumping around or go to Raw.
Let's go to Raw.
You want to pause on Dynamite?
Let's pause
go to
on
Raw?
Dynamite, go to Raw, and we'll jump back.
Okay. Yeah, that kind of keeps it a little more by how it happened. Okay. So Monday Night Raw. So yeah, this might get confusing. So yeah, we're back.
We're back to WWE.
Back to Raw. Again, coming off Hell in the Cell.
Yep.
There was, this whole fallout, blah, blah, blah. The biggest thing, obviously Cody's going to be out for some time getting surgery, or he had surgery, like you said. The biggest thing was Judgment Day, right? Which is I wanted to wait to talk about it from whatever it was, Hell in a Cell. Now we're here. They won it, Hell in a Cell. So, they won. They're doing it. They're fine.
Yep.
And then you obviously had the prediction of May Finn Balor turns.
Someone's gonna.
No one turned in the match.
Nope.
On Raw, Judgment Day's speaking, whatever. They announce a new member. Finn Balor comes out for no reason. Why'd he come out? No reason. There wasn't any sort of hint. There wasn't any sort of whatever. Finn Balor comes out. 4 of them are standing in the ring. Damian Priest says, "Oh, Edge, you've always taught us to, something about get rid of the weakest link, whatever, blah, blah." Judgment Day turns on Edge. Finn Balor is the new leader of Judgment Day. Why?
Do you mind giving me a few minutes for this?
Pop
get
off.
a few minutes?
Pop off. Go ahead.
This might be one of the stupidest things that WWE has done in a while.
Super dumb.
So Judgment Day probably was one of the hottest things going in WWE for them.
It was besides
one
Cody,
of the only watchable things on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
Even though they haven't really they've only had the same opponent and the same rival their entire existence, they made it interesting. So you go through this whole thing. Let me see if I can try to understand this. So you do this whole thing with Edge versus AJ Styles. That's the feud. You turn Edge back into a heel, a very just evil character.
you cut his hair.
You cut his hair. You cut that beautiful
And they didn't even
long blonde hair, and he only did it for 3 weeks before he got.
And they
kicked
never
out.
made anything special.
They
of
never
it.
even said. They never even acknowledged it. All right, okay. So you got WrestleMania, heel versus face. Damian Priest comes in, awesome, new group. Rhea Ripley comes in. Oh, okay, this is something cool. They're dark. It's kind of like the House of Black kind of, but WWE's version, whatever. And you're thinking, all right, this has potential because now they're talking about adding more members. They can make this a big group. In my opinion, the bigger the better because you just have more options and stuff. You got the whole evil thing going. And then you bring in someone else. You bring in Finn Balor, which is fine. He has the Prince, the Demon King. He has that evil background and stuff.
When he came in, I was like, okay, it seems a little because random, nothing really.
Right.
There's no reason for it. But all right, cool. I like this.
Okay,
form. I like the
cool,
form.
whatever.
Yep.
They do everything, introduce him, blah, blah, blah. And then, like you said, we cut the weakest link, whatever. And they kick out So this whole thing is revolving around Edge. Like, the
Right.
whole thing is because Edge turned heel and
And
he's bringing people in.
He's this mentor guy that's recruiting people and making everyone.
And he's supposed to build them up.
Right.
I thought, isn't that supposed to, like, the new Brood, like when him
Right.
and Christian were with Gangrel, and that was kind of like their thing, and he built them up. So that was awful, just kicking him out in general. But here's the other thing that I thought was stupid. Why didn't you just have Finn Balor join at Hell in a
Right,
Cell?
they had the opportunity to do something.
Whether it was Finn Balor turned on them and then he joined them, or after the match, because after the match they pin Finn and he's lying there while they're standing over him. I'm thinking,
Yeah.
oh, maybe he just picks him up, and then the next night comes around and then they do it. Then, at least in my head, that kind of
doing it at Hell in a Cell would have given it a reason.
it makes it, yes, it gives it more of
Yeah.
a reason. But then you just have him come out as like the newest member. And then his music, that's
Yeah.
lame,
And then why?
dude. That's
Why
there's
is he
no
the newest
reason
member?
for it.
Yep.
And then he talks like, I opened my eyes. You made it clear for me because you speared me last night. Like, no.
Yeah,
Like,
it was
that's
very all
so,
like, Edge, you beat my ass so
dude,
hard.
That is such like a copy and paste that you can literally, like, that's so uncreative.
Yeah.
It's like, that doesn't
I'm
rope
curious,
in.
like, there hasn't been any news that came out about it, but like, I'm curious if Edge needed to be written off.
So what I
They did the
heard-
concerto.
So what I heard was WWE has this whole new idea for Judgment Day. They want to do this whole supernatural thing now, where it's like Undertaker-esque stuff, and Edge is like, no. So I
Wow.
think, obviously, rumors, reports are
Sure.
just what it is, rumors and reports, but from what it sounds like is he didn't want to be in the group anymore because of the direction they were going to go down.
Wow.
And they just like, all right, well,
Okay,
we'll pull
see
an
ya.
audible. We can cut your hair 3 weeks
We'll
ago.
literally
Yeah.
switch you.
So, but now I'm worried because one, okay, obviously it's a fresh face, fresh leader, stuff like that. That could be like a whole breath of fresh air, whatever. But one, Judgment Day didn't run its course with Edge, so they had
And
so much.
So something I just thought about.
No, go ahead.
No more little Bullet Club thing.
No more little Bullet Club thing. That
was
gone.
cool.
That
I
was
liked that.
That was very short lived. They could have done a lot more with that. Get it?
Come on.
Um,
Like, that seemed like it was gonna be something.
Exactly. Like those two, like just the Judgment Day with Edge as its leader and the mini Bullet Club,
Yep.
you could have ran with that for like another few months
Yeah.
at minimum, especially Judgment Day. You could have done that for another year. But now I'm worried because you could make the argument, oh, they're doing something up, they're fresh of breath, they're doing it different. But now it's like, or they're taking a big step back.
I don't
Who
give a shit
cares
about
about
it.
I don't
give a
care
shit
about
it
Judgment Day now.
I barely cared about it before.
Like Finn Balor's cool. Yeah. It's like I said like they're one of the better parts of Raw and stuff like that, but it's not like there were still little things that they still had to build it up.
Edge was
bit more for
already
me.
an established guy, and that was, like you said, that was the whole story of him being the older veteran who turned dark, who's now taking
Yep.
people under his wing, building this really strong dark stable.
Mm-hmm.
Now that Finn Balor's in that position, yes, of course, outside or like whatever zoomed out, Finn Balor is a legend. He's a veteran in the
Mm-hmm.
sport. Blah blah. However, not in WWE.
No.
And not really in the storyline, not wherever. Like, he's been in the sport forever and he's respected. He has the accolades, of course. However, he's never won that title back.
Nope.
He hasn't
Just
had
been
other
floating.
notable
He's just
stuff.
been like in limbo, kind of like
Yeah.
like you look over the years, like he's had like some big matches, some bangers, but it led to nothing.
So why? Yeah. So why is Rhea and Damien going to trust him to lead?
And it's like I saw someone tweet this, and it made me very concerned. They said like this is gonna be like the new Retribution stable with
Woof.
Mustafa Ali, and that I mean
Woof.
probably one of the worst things they've done in recent.
And then so
history.
now what's Edge going to do?
I don't know. Is it gonna?
What's
be
AJ
like,
going to do? What's Liv going to do?
I'm thinking like it's gonna be Edge versus Finn at some point, right? But like, so,
Or I'm sure AJ will stay involved because they can still do AJ and Finn.
right? Yeah. Yeah, I mean they should, they could. I don't know.
But who-
is Edge a good guy now after being a
Who
heel
knows?
for 2 months?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. It's so baffling.
And someone made the comment too. Is like, I think they're going to still use the same music.
Why? Oh my God! No, if they don't
You
go,
never
if you don't,
did.
if you
They
don't
have to
at
change the
least
music.
go back to You Think You Know Me, I am gonna lose.
No, but I'm saying Judgment Day is going to.
Oh, they're gonna keep using it. Okay,
He has
Whether
to go
it's
back.
he has to.
Unless he stays heel, I guess. But I don't know.
I don't know.
Confusing.
It's stupid. The whole thing is stupid. I was watching that. I had it on in the background because they had like the little countdown throughout the show. It was like 2 hours until new members announced. One, I think that's stupid as well. But two, I did watch it. And I was so confused the whole time. I was my jaw was dropped. I couldn't believe it.
So, before we get back to AEW, I have one more Monday Night Raw. I have some other like stuff that happened. Oh, I guess we can talk about this too. Like Street Profits are going to get a title shot. That's cool. I'm all for that. Cool. Rhea Ripley's the new #1 contender. She has a match at Money in the Bank.
Makes sense.
Great, cool. I guess last couple of things we kind of already touched about this. Becky got pinned by Dana Brooke in a 24/7 match.
Yep.
I get it. It's the story. My problem is, I think she was already at rock bottom. I don't think this story that she's in needed to involve the 24/7 title. I get that it like contributes to it and it makes her hit rock bottom more, but like I don't think it needed to involve it. I think she was already at rock bottom and slowly climbing up because she's still in notable matches. Like she just had a banger triple threat match. She didn't win, but like you know what I mean. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was kind of silly. I don't know.
I think WWE is kind of just like with that match, just kind of made it known. Like we know how stupid the whole 24/7 title is, and they're just kind of like using that as a prop for the story.
I know everyone talks about it, but like I can't stand the 24/7. Like all of a sudden, like what was it? Dana versus Reggie or something stupid?
It's just got people running around at random times during the show. At first, when they introduced it, like the idea of it was cool because it was like, oh, that's what the hardcore title belt was, and then they showed the belt, and it looks like. Probably the ugliest belt ever made, right?
So I will say, which we've been corrected on this, it was some like kid that was like sick that designed the title, and I just want to save you.
What? How sick was he? Listen,
I'm thinking pretty sick.
It's still not a good looking belt. I just say it how it. I say it how it is.
I get it.
It's not a good looking belt, but regardless, it just looks like a toy. It looks like a toy belt that you bought from Kmart or something like that. And
it does
grown
look
adults are running around.
It does look like a child
trying to get a green strap with a gold little circle on it.
Yeah, it's not the best division.
No, it's not at all.
I'm surprised they're still doing it. They should have
canned it a long time ago. Just retire.
It was like a fun.
R-Truth was like carrying it forever.
Like, it was fun to do in the pandemic because like pandemic wrestling was nuts.
So different.
They were doing
different.
It leaned on the silliness because they just needed to be entertaining. So I got it for that. But like
now it's ran its course.
So one question I kind of want to pose, maybe our last Monday Night Raw bit, Rey Mysterio.
Yes.
Right now, him and Dominic have been with Veer Mahan doing that thing. I forget what happened, but Dominic lost to Veer, I'm pretty sure, and then like Rey came out, and they've been doing that whole thing for a while. How do we feel about Rey Mysterio's current position in WWE?
How do I feel about it? I'm not shocked. I don't want to be the one to break your heart. But just knowing how WWE has treated former, past, old legends. I mean, Jeff Hardy being a notable one.
Oh, speaking of, I meant to say this during the 24/7 thing. Speaking of Jeff Hardy, saw a quote on Twitter that was like, because he was in the 24/7 division for like a week or whatever.
Before.
And it was a quote that he said where he was like, I did it because he's just like a worker, he's a company guy, but he was like, he was heartbroken that he was in that division. And he was like, why am I being treated like this? Like, why?
People, when you're in that division running around for a belt, you're not going to feel too great about where you are in the company.
But, sorry, back to the Rey thing.
But with Rey, I hate to say it because he's still unbelievable.
If if they put him in the 24/7 division, I'll never watch Monday Night Raw again.
He can still give you a banger and give you another run, maybe. But just knowing how WWE is, like I said, I think he's just about done. I think all he has left right now is just building up his son, keeping that going, and then eventually they'll do the turn, whoever turns on who. And honestly,
I doubt I don't think they'll ever do a turn.
I think you got it.
It would have to be Dominic turning on
That's
Rey.
what I'm saying. That's what I think as well. You got to do it. I think before Rey hangs up his belt, the only way to really build Dominic up you're not going to build him up teaming with his dad. I think the best way is giving him that little edginess. Like, he's not like this little innocent kid. Like, he can, do other things. He turns on his dad. They have a, banger of a feud.
Ray's 47. I knew he was up there.
And Ray's older as well. He doesn't look like he's 47. The guy moves like he's in his 30s, which is why I think that he should get treated better. I do believe he should.
I want to see him get one more run.
I just don't think he will.
Yeah.
Not to him. It's because of WWE.
I'm so sick of the Mysterios like together. Like, I'm sick of.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They've been together for a while, so it's
Yeah.
like eventually they gotta split them up.
See, I'd be fine with just like splitting them up with no feud and just letting them do their own
Sure.
thing. You know what I mean? 'Cause,
Yeah.
like, that's the only way Dominic. Why do you think Hook is so good and so popular? Granted, maybe there's a talent hype level, whatever, but like, Taz isn't coming out with Hook. He was, but Taz isn't still with Hook. Yes, he's on commentary and he's like hyping up his son. But for the most part, Hook is now solo and his own guy. Whatever.
Yep.
Dominic's been crutched. Not crutched.
No, he's just been at his dad's hip for the last.
That's
2
exactly.
years. Yeah, attached to his hip. They could just do like, hey, Dad, I need to do this on my own, and just like goes off and does his own thing. They could.
They've done that a little bit, but then Ray's like, no, you need my help.
I don't know. In my head, the best way to build Dominic up as a single star is to have him turn on his dad. That's what I think. Who knows what they'll do it. They haven't done it yet. I don't know if they'll ever do it. I do believe though, at some point Rey Mysterio will end up in AEW.
Oh, that'd be so
I do
sick.
believe that will happen because I do think he has years left in the tank. Yeah. I do think he can wrestle until he's 50. I don't know what his current contract is with WWE, but I can absolutely see, again, some of those situations, Jeff Hardy, they don't have anything for him. And Rey Mysterio's like, I still got years left in the tank. I still got something to give. Doesn't re-sign. Dominic stays around. You still got a Mysterio in the company. And Rey Mysterio, he could put on. We can go on. We can talk about this for a while. How many bangers Rey Mysterio could have in AEW with all those wrestlers? But it wouldn't shock me if he ended up in All Elite.
I would love that
in the next few.
I really would.
Or I don't know. Whenever his contract is up.
Wow.
So,
well, that's Monday Night Raw.
I didn't mean to hurt your feel. I didn't mean to break your heart with that. That's just.
It's definitely broken. Well, you broke my heart for him being in the WWE, but you got me back
with the AEW.
Because I agree. I think if he went to AEW, I don't think they'd give him a run or a shot at the AEW championship, but I think he'd get
treated better.
He'd get treated better. I think he'd get a shot at like TNT.
Yeah, 100%. Or the new all Atlantic.
Dante, great segue because AEW just announced another singles title, the All Atlantic Championship, and there's a tournament announced.
Yep. I did see the announcement for that last night. Sick. I saw people were complaining too many belts. They have too many belts in AEW. And I'm thinking in my head, okay, what belts do they have? They have one world championship for men. I'm doing men right now.
Sure.
Men, TNT, tag team.
FTW kind of gets defended, but like that's not really.
I'm not counting that. That's 3 divisions.
Yeah.
You can add another one. Yeah. WWE has 2 world championships.
And AEW is packed more with stars.
AEW has many more guys that deserve television time, that deserve
and it looks. I don't know if you saw it. It looks good.
Looks great. People were complaining it looks similar to the new women's belt. It does have a similar the look of it, like the 5 things in the middle, kind of being not like a rectangle, kind of not like a square, but kind of like a longer shape going up to down. But it looks nice. I think it's clean. And the idea of it is awesome as well. It's basically their Intercontinental belt. That's what it is.
Yeah, I'm not. It's another mid card title. It's like how WWE has like the US title and the IC title. Mm-hmm. It's just another mid card title. I hope because they're definitely going to do the trios titles.
Yes.
I hope maybe after that they stop.
I don't think they'll need to do too much after that. Yeah, I agree.
I heard a point the other day where it was like, obviously if you keep adding titles, it either is going to discredit
diminishes the value
the other titles, or it's just so I don't know.
I think it's fine. I think they're in a good spot where they are now. I mean, again, look at all these guys, and that's just a short list of guys that deserve to be a champ in the company, but don't really get opportunities because there's only one other mid-card belt.
So who do you think in this bracket, also keeping in mind that Pac beat Buddy Matthews last night. We got Pac advancing, and we got Ethan Page versus Miro. Unannounced New Japan match. Penta Oscuro versus Malachi Black.
That match is going to be a banger.
It's going to be nuts. And then, so this all leads to the 4-way match to crown the champion at Forbidden Door.
I think Miro is going to win it all.
I think so, too. It seems like it's made for him.
He just came back. You're building him up.
Mm-hmm.
He had the TNT belt before he got hurt. I think he challenged for the AEW World Belt at one point as well.
I could see Pac winning it.
I could see Pac winning it. I could see Malachi Black winning it. Obviously, we don't know anyone competing from New Japan. But yeah, I'm going to go Miro or Malachi. Those are my two options, but I think Miro will win it.
Well, with that said, let's round out the show with our match of the week and wrestler of the week.
All right. I got it.
Let's start with, what do you want to start with? Match of the week or wrestler of the week?
We'll do match of the week.
Okay, what's your match of the week?
Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, Hell in a Cell.
Fair.
I mean,
why?
Why? Because he tore his pec and wrestled through that? No, I mean, I don't really have to justify it too much. Hell in a Cell match, that alone, just the heroic performance, the ability to fight through that pain. Obviously, people talk about wrestling being fake and all this and that, and you're right. It is written, it's storyline.
He still wrestled with a torn pec.
I would love for someone that says wrestling is fake to do what he did, because you can't. Not a lot of people can do what he did. He's a tough son of a bitch. He made the match. I mean, the match was already great enough as it is, but that just added so much more to it. It made it that much more special. I didn't think, when you have this many matches in one feud, like this was their third match, it's hard to top, they put out a banger like the WrestleMania match. Like, all right, now they're doing it at Backlash.
Oh, and this was their best match
top
by
it?
far.
Then it's like, all right, they're doing it a third time. How are they going to top that? And they did. And it's very hard to do that because Randy Orton, John Cena, they've wrestled a million times. I bet you their last match wasn't as good as their first or something in the middle. It's hard to, compete with other bangers that you've had. But they were able to do that, and I think this was their best match yet. It could be match of the year, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think that's all I really need to say about why that's the match of the week for me.
Surprisingly, I do have a different match of the week.
Okay.
My match of the week is still at Hell in a Cell. It's the women's triple threat.
Okay, cool.
Bianca, Becky, Asuka. I think they tore the house down. I do think, obviously, because of the situation, the intensity, I think the Hell in a Cell match was the match of the night.
Sure.
But my match of the week, I just think, like I said, we kind of talked about it. I don't want to rehash what we already talked about, but I just think the three of I think WWE, as much as we rag on WWE for sure. I think it's justified, but what are you going to do? WWE has the strongest women's division.
Yeah, they're much better than AEW.
Much stronger
better.
women's division than AEW or any other company. I think the women's division is much stronger than their men's division in WWE.
You can make an argument, for sure.
Because who do you got in the men's division, right? Especially right now, Cody and Roman are out or part-time or injured or whatever. And then Bobby Lashley is
the next
gonna fight.
Up. The thing with the women's division is you have so many. Like, you got
and granted, Sasha, Naomi,
so I was gonna say Sasha, Bayley, Charlotte, Becky, Asuka, Ronda,
Alexa, Liv, Rhea. Rhea's great.
You got like 10 female wrestlers that are legitimate, and we're probably missing a few people, to be honest.
Absolutely.
Like Zelina Vega is very underrated. I think she's an amazing wrestler. Carmella, she's a former world champ, so she has that credibility. Even like Natalya, Shayna Baszler, if you put in the effort, you could build her up as a unbeatable person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you got NXT division as well. You got the Mandy Roses and all that stuff.
So that's why that's my match. Because the women just showing that they are the strongest division in wrestling right now, for sure. All right, wrestler of the week. What do you got?
Shocker. It's Cody.
Yeah, so I also have Cody Rhodes. Yeah, my wrestler of the week. It's hard to, especially this week, it's hard to top what Cody did.
Yeah, I feel like it is the easy answer, but it's the correct answer. Cody Rhodes, again, I don't want to rehash, say things, go in circles here, but just put on the performance of a lifetime, put on arguably one of the best matches of his career, not even just WWE. He already had my respect. I already liked the guy before, but man, I've said it once or twice already this podcast, but that is a tough son of a bitch. And I got all the respect for him.
We are a pro Cody podcast.
Last
like
week
I said,
we were pro MJF. This week we're
pro
Cody.
Cody.
Yep.
Well, I think that's a good place to stop before we get into the after party. If you guys want to hear, I mean, we still have tons more to discuss about Dynamite. I'm sure there's stuff that's going to happen on SmackDown, and there's some NXT stuff in here. So we have a lot more.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about this. I'm excited to talk about. I don't know if you saw the Bucks, Jurassic Express, and the Hardys got announced for a ladder match. We're going to talk about it. Save it for the after party.
I am.
So if you guys want to see us talk just more and have a little bonus episode, we're going to go more patreon.com/Lumberlend. It's only $5 a month, and you get an extra podcast a week. Isn't that crazy?
Sounds good to me.
It's a decent deal.
And
then you get tons of other stuff while you're
in
there.
the pit live
Yep.
3 times a week. You get exclusive content, behind the scenes stuff that you can't get anywhere else.
You want to start jumping up tiers, you get more and more.
Don't even get me started with the other tiers. Don't even.
Wow. So what do we got coming out this week? What do we got? I guess, now we're just kind of...
Today's Friday. Yesterday, the Hell in a Cell recap.
Oh,
plus.
this is one thing I want to say. So with the video games, the My GM mode, first of all, the
Goees.
response has been great.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
The response, we're having a ball playing it. However, little peek behind the curtain, we film like 3 episodes at once.
Yeah.
So, and we do read the comments. We see...
We understand where we're lacking and where we need to get better at, and we hear you. But unfortunately for you guys, we have filmed this well in advance. So you're going to have one more episode that's going to be us being clueless, but we do promise, we are reading the comments, we will get better at it.
So episodes through
we did clarify that we were unfamiliar with it and that we didn't really know what we were doing. So you got to
which I think is the fun of it, because I don't want it. Someone was like, "Oh, like watch a video, learn how to play it." Like, I want that to be a part of the series.
Yeah, it's like we're learning,
figuring out together.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be fun if like one of us went home, studied on it, and then just fucking went try
hard.
Yeah, exactly.
No, we're learning. The most important thing is we're having fun, guys. I think that's the main point with the video games, with the podcast, and everything else. We are having fun. All right, guys.
We're bringing fun back to wrestling, and that's the point of MBW. Because we're not hardos. We're not trying to be experts here.
No, we're just trying to have
which is
fun,
my favorite part.
Be entertaining for you guys.
But so yeah, I guess that's my little. If I could just give everyone a warning on the next episode.
Give us a break.
Episode 4, we're gonna take a lot of the new things into consideration.
Yes.
We just 1 million views, 1 million total views on the channel.
Not bad.
Not
I guess all all those accounts I made we got the good use. No, we really appreciate you guys. Obviously, we've said it before. Started off making a few weekly YouTube videos, and then in turn making our own channel because of the just unbelievable response. And I mean we're killing it. And it's because of you guys. I'm doing a podcast, all this stuff because of you. So,
and at the time of recording this, we're about 95 subscribers away from 28K. Ain't that crazy?
Ain't that a thing?
Go check out the TikTok. Dante's putting in a lot of hard work over on the Mustache Bros Wrestling TikTok account. We're really getting that up. What are we at? 16, 17,000?
I think we're at 17 now.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Go check that out. Follow us on everything. Subscribe. We never said our names at the beginning of this, which I think if you're watching this, you know our names. But I've been John. You can follow me everywhere at Raspy Taylor.
And I have been Dante, but for the after party, I might be someone else.
Who never knows.
There's only one way to find out.
You have to find out. Thank you, guys. Hope you enjoyed listening. Hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll see you in the after party. Peace.
Peace.